What's going on, everyone? I'm Derby Dallas, and welcome to the Driver's Seat Podcast. Some of you guys may be wondering where episode 4 has been for the last week, but it's been all over the news. Texas was frozen over last week. Wasn't able to get out and make one. So, here we are today. And, I'm here with my good friend, Kyler Balzer, who has helped me out a bunch. And so, yeah, Kyler, how you been, man?
I'm pretty good. Just to let y'all know, this is take 2. Dallas messed up.
Yeah, the microphones said no sir on the last one, so this is take 2 and the second day. Well, how you been today, Kyler? I talked to you yesterday, but
Living the dream.
living the dream, huh?
Living the dream.
Anything changed since yesterday?
Nope.
Well, to start off, where are you from, Kyler?
Perryton, Texas.
Is that where you grew up?
Yep. That's it. That's the whole story. Perryton, Texas.
You never left or nothing?
I left for about 2 months. It moved to Spearman and came right back. So
You'll have that on them big jobs.
you'll have that on them big jobs.
Well, what got you into Derby? What got you started out?
Perryton, Texas. No, growing up here as a kid, that time of year comes around in the summer where you get the parade, the Derby, and it just kind of sticks in the back of your head, and you get to where you constantly think about it, and that's all you want to do is be in one of those cars out there making noise and crunching metal.
Did you start out in the stands, or
Oh, absolutely.
how old were you when you went to your first Derby to watch?
Oh, I'm sure I was a baby.
Well, when did you finally get to go into the pits or whatever and help somebody out?
Oh, probably 13, 14 is when I finally made it back there.
Were you nervous or anything? Behind the scenes, we're not even to driving yet. Were
No,
you nervous
I was-
just being back there?
I was just having way too much fun watching everything happen around me.
Just trying not to get in the way or anything?
I was probably in everybody's way, but I was having a great time doing it.
That's how I was too, man. You get back there and you're probably not how I was, but I was super nervous about being in everybody's way.
Oh, I was always nervous. I was one of those shy little introvert kids that doesn't talk. So,
You were?
oh yeah,
I mean, you still are.
yeah, definitely. Nothing changed there.
So, how old were you when you finally got to hop in a car?
Oh, I think I got my first car when I was 14, and finally got to drive when I was 15. So,
What'd you build? What'd you run?
71 Oldsmobile Delta 88.
Was it any good?
It was a piece of garbage.
Why?
It just didn't know what we were doing. I mean, it had chrome skin bumpers with no backing. Didn't know where to put the welds on it. And
You just threw something together to
we
get out
put
there.
it together and did it.
Were you nervous?
No, not until I pulled in the arena.
Then what happened?
Oh, well, you get the butterflies in the stomach and kind of want to puke a little bit, have to go to the bathroom even though you just did. And yeah, it was...
See, when I'm out there, that's when I get more calm. Like, I'm nervous when I'm watching everybody else pull in, and then when I finally get into the arena, I get more calm than anything.
I do after they say go.
And then it's like,
sitting,
all right.
It's sitting on the line up there waiting is what gets me. And then once they say go, it's all out the window and I'm good.
Green flag drops, so does the visor.
Yep, exactly.
Well, what makes you continue to keep going?
Just passion. I mean, that's about the only thing that would make any of us do this stupid crap.
Because yesterday when we were talking, you said you were 27 now, and you started back when you were 14 or 15. That's over a 10-year span.
Yeah, it is. And I went pretty hard the first, what is it? I don't know, 7, 8 years running constantly. And the last few years I'll run 1 year, take a break, run again, take a break. And I'm not as full swing into it as I used to be.
But it kind of keeps your hunger going, taking a break for a little bit after you get burnt out, then you come back and you're
Oh yeah,
firing on all cylinders.
it's what keeps me competitive. If I keep pushing past it when I really am kind of losing the feeling for it, it turns out bad. I build a crappy car. I don't drive worth a crap. I got to get hungry for it again, come back and do it all over.
Well, we'll come back to taking breaks and stuff, but what's the hardest part of getting started?
I think it's just finding the people to help you out and let you know which paths to go down and
Yeah.
what to do and what not to do.
When you get those people to help you out and stuff, that's that also helps you start finding cars, 'cause that's a hard thing to do too, just starting out, is trying to find cars.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got lucky on that front because my first car was actually given to me by Shane Vela, and I kind of got really lucky on my first car. He helped me get started on it, and then my dad's a heck of a mechanic, so he got it running right. We had it running good, and we had a good car. We just didn't know how to build it.
Would you change anything on that first car?
No, I learned too much from it. I like the way it went.
So you're pretty happy then?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You proud of it?
Oh yeah. It's my first car.
Yeah, everybody, all their first cars are junk. I don't think I've ever seen somebody hop into a car and just be able to go. But
yeah, we spent a lot of time on making it look pretty.
hey man,
Didn't spend a whole lot of time on making it tough, but it looked pretty.
if you don't have a cool paint job, the kids aren't going to care.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, there has to be an emotional toll that goes into building a derby car year in, year out. And then if you're even running more shows than just once a year, you're working on that thing all the time because you're trying to make more shows.
Oh yeah, and that's where I get burnt out on it a lot. Have to take a break. Is just it gets to be a little too much at times for me.
And so now that, like, you've been in this, you said you take breaks. What do you do in the years you're not derbying,
Well, now I go racing.
like circle track
Yeah,
or
enduro cars.
enduro cars?
Yeah, take a bunch of junkers out there and go run 200 laps. See who makes it till the end.
Is that more? Do you get more adrenaline off of that, or
It's about the same for me. I mean,
Really?
I love them both equally.
even without the constant worry in your head of I'm gonna get hit for sure?
Oh, that still happens for sure.
Like I can't think of who said it, but I think I'm gonna sound really stupid on here, but it was Dale Earnhardt. He said, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing.
Yep.
So, I mean, you get out there, and you got 200 laps ahead of you. What?
Pretty much what I like to do is I like to channel Ricky Bobby into my soul. And if you ain't first, you're last.
How many times have you been first?
None yet.
So what makes you continue to race then? Because I know you'll race, and then, like I said, you'll go derby. What makes you continue to keep racing?
I like getting in a car and doing stupid things, so
It's pretty fun.
it kind of gives me an outlet to get in a car and do stupid things in a safer setting than anywhere else.
That's fair
It's
enough.
probably better for the public health.
Would you what are the differences in building an enduro car compared to a derby car? Are there any?
Well, derby cars, you want to throw as much metal as you can into it and make it as tough as possible. And a race car, you want to take as much metal out as you can and make it as light as possible.
Would you are you able to run, like, say, like a square body Vic, like what we'll talk about here in a little bit? Would you be able to take one of those out there and do it, or do you have to have a specific kind of car that you're looking for?
No, you can run. I mean, it's pretty much any car you can get running. Just leave it stock and don't do any performance mods on it, and you can take it out there and have a heck of a time for cheap. But I found out I ran a square body Vic as my first enduro car, and I didn't like the way it handled. There's a lot of guys that go out there and run stuff like that, and they do good with it, but it didn't fit my driving style.
What is your driving style?
Well, I switched to a 91 or 92 Oldsmobile. What is it? Roadmaster. Buick Roadmaster. Sorry, I'm an idiot. But
good.
No, it had an LT1 in it, and I mean that thing would haul the mail. It was a big old boat, but it had a little more get up and go out of the corners, and I blew it up last year, so we're moving on to something else.
On your first enduro, you said it was a square body Vic. Didn't you take that car and go derby it?
Yeah, I took the car afterwards, cut the race car cage out of it, welded the derby car cage into it, tilted it, did a bunch of welding. And
what's the differences between a race car cage and a derby car cage?
Race car cage is not near as sturdy as a derby car cage.
You use on derby cars, I know we'll use like tubing you'd find on a rig site.
Yeah.
What do you use to build a?
You're using big heavy wall 2 3/8 on a derby car, stuff like that. Big square tubing. And race car, you're using little skinny 1.5-inch thin wall tubing, but you're running a lot more bars and
nothing that's gonna add a whole bunch of weight.
No, you don't want to add that weight to it.
But you're still pretty safe.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's guys out there that put derby car style cages in them and go.
That's insane.
Oh, it's
because then that's just weighing you down.
Yeah, it makes it a little heavier, but I mean, it's cheap. So
That's fair enough.
and that's the name of the game with enduro racing.
But like you can take, like we said, you took your Vic and derbied it. You get like all around with that thing. You get to go race it, and then
Oh yeah,
then if you want, you can come back a month later and throw it into a derby.
That's one thing I love about it too, is that you get a little more out of a car. You get to have a
Yeah.
little more fun with it before it just goes to the big crusher in the sky.
You don't have to. You can run a derby car more than one time, though.
Not if you're me.
Why is that?
I don't know. I have bad luck with cars just being junked on the first run, so.
Is that bad luck with the cars, or just you going balls to the wall the entire time you're out there?
What it honestly is me making stupid hits that I shouldn't make, and I know I shouldn't make them.
So you have to have a game plan before you go out into a derby.
What I like to do is, before the run, I like to make a game plan. I'm not going to make these certain hits, I'm going to hit square. I'm going to try to not go crazy, and then the moment I pull in there, that whole plan that I just made goes completely out the window, and I'm
just hit somebody.
I'm just winging it at that point. I'm holding on and hoping for the best.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Well, you of all people know that I don't handle frustrations on Derby Day very well.
No, I think you're fine. It's all good.
How do you handle frustrations of things going wrong? Say like your carburetor decides that it doesn't want to work the day of the Derby. How do you handle things going wrong?
As much as I'm not proud of it, I lash out at the closest person to me, or the first person that tries to come up and offer advice.
Just get away from me.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's not pretty, and I don't like being that way because I'm normally a really nice person, but
Makes people not want to help you out.
I get really cranky, and I can't help it, but I do.
Do you ever apologize?
Oh, absolutely. Every time. Every time. I feel terrible about it. The guilt weighs on me that night after the run.
It's always after the Derby.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, man, I shouldn't have done that.
I think about every mean word I said to someone, and it keeps me awake at night.
So, is it the same with Enduro? Have you ever gone anywhere and just not been able to run your car? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's not with the Enduro, it's not as stressful when you go out for some reason. I can't explain why, but I mean, I've had a couple runs where the car overheats and I go out early and I'm just having fun in the pits.
Yeah.
And usually my dad's running at the same time, so at that point I
You're
go
just
from
helping him
driver to
out.
pit crew, so I'm sitting there waiting for him to come in for a tire change.
Well, if anything goes wrong in a Derby and you stall out or you just stop, you got to be worried about anybody and everybody that's going to be coming for you because they just see a wide open shot. You don't have to worry about that in Enduro.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Speaking of that, what's your first reaction when your car stalls out in the middle of a Derby? We're past Enduro. Circle tracks for wussies.
Yeah, let's get off of that. No, I like to initially see if it's cranking over. If it's cranking over, I like to hold the pedal to the floor, see if it's flooded. If that doesn't work, I'll start checking wiring, fuel pump, stuff like that.
So you have a checklist.
Kind of. I go through it pretty fast in the moment. So.
You have to, man,
Yeah.
because every second you're not paying attention to what's going on around you and moving, that's every second you can take a arena shot off of somebody.
Oh yeah, it's like my last car. I mean, it stalled out and quit, and I cranked on it, didn't do anything. I looked over, and the ground wire's hanging off my electric fuel pump, so
Oh, snap.
I just grab the ground wire, touch it to the floor, and fire it up and go.
That's freaking impressive. You just grab that thing and
Yep.
arc it off the bottom of the car and keep going?
Yep, ground it out and go.
You're a wild man. One time, we were in the Spearman Derby, and I thought I had strapped my battery down, because you're supposed to have a ratchet strap on it,
Oh yeah.
or just something keeping your battery in. Well, I had forgot to toss it back over and tighten it up, and I took a shot, and it just launched to my back seat
Oh yeah.
and ripped everything out. Well, I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. I'm watching to see if smoke's coming up, to see if it's flooded or anything. I look over, and my battery's gone. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And then about that time, I just, boom,
Ooh.
get creamed. Is not a fun time.
My first Amarillo car that I hauled to Turkey Bash, I got so busy getting the car done and running right that I forgot to put a seatbelt in it.
Oh, man.
So I got ratchet strapped into the seat that time.
Hey, man, ratchet straps save lives.
They do.
I'm here to say that. I've been ratchet strapped into
Remember
a car
that,
before.
kids. Ratchet straps save lives.
If you can't put a seatbelt in, throw a ratchet strap in. Speaking of seatbelts, one time, I think it was 2 years ago in the Perryton Derby. It was the year you came back after
Probably so,
taking
yeah.
a year off or so, and I had a guy in there welding the little triangle piece on your seatbelt, welding it down to the roll cage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he took the bolt out of it, and was just trying to weld the triangle metal piece, and it melted the freaking seatbelt.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, dude, don't worry, I'm a Boy Scout. He grabs the spare ratchet strap and ties it into a knot. And he's like, you're good, bro. It'll hold, I promise. So, I mean, even if you don't have a full ratchet strap, just get yourself a Boy Scout in your pits and
There
you're
you
good to go.
Always have a Boy Scout on hand.
Going back to what happens when your car stalls out, is it hard to stay calm in that situation, or are you just like, crap?
No,
You know, just...
I mean, the only choice I have at that point is to stay calm and figure out what's going on. If I freak out, I'm not going to get anything done.
Yeah, but, I mean, still, though, you could have a 10,000-pound Cadillac coming your way.
That's fine. I just don't pay attention to what's going on around me. That way it's a surprise if it happens. I'm not sitting there anticipating it.
That's safe, though. I mean, you're not tensed up, scared, you know?
Yeah, it feels a lot better.
You don't even know it happens until you look over and they're backing up and you're like, oh, I blacked out for a couple seconds.
Usually I just sit there and say a bunch of bad words and keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, what's the hardest you've ever been hit then?
Well,
I mean, not even being stalled out, just...
Well, this last run I made a couple years ago, I made a really bad choice to go nose to nose. I got done working on someone, and I pulled around. I saw an open headlight to headlight shot with someone, and I hit the gas, and then I realized who it was.
Who was it?
Oh, Derek Court.
Oh, man.
And that Cadillac. And I let off the gas, and I've got a GoPro video where you can hear me. I get on it, and then I let off, and I think that's a bad idea. Then I think, well, I'm already in it, so I just laid back in it.
No turning back now.
Oh, it was terrible. Kissed the steering wheel, knocked the GoPro off.
Full face.
Yep.
Full faces are the way to go. Or just, you know, don't go headlight to headlight with Derek's Cadillac.
Well, that'd be my first advice for anybody.
Well, what's the hardest hit that you've given somebody? Where you just pull around, you see somebody, you know, maybe on the berm or something, and you're like, I'm going to take it. And you just go full force.
I think I might have track shot a Sadagan at one point, parked on a berm.
How far? Like, was it a full arena shot, a half track?
It was about a half track. It was a lot of fun, but
you get a lot, like, take that out of it, you know? Like,
yeah. It was just one of those things that the opportunity presented itself, and
I mean, it doesn't matter who's on the other end of it. If you get the opportunity to full track or half track somebody, you got to take it.
Well, it was a shot. My transmission was already acting up in the car, so I decided if I was going to make one last hit, let's make it a good one and
put a show on for the crowd.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. Were you ever scared of getting injured? Giving
No.
and taking hits like that, you know?
No.
Like you said, you kissed the steering wheel, you could have broke your nose or something if you
No.
didn't have a full face, but...
Yeah, no, that doesn't worry me. I mean, if you're dumb enough to get in the thing, you're obviously not worried about getting hurt.
I don't know. There's been a few guys I've talked to. I'm not gonna name them on camera, and I haven't talked to them on camera, but they're like, I don't know. I get a little nervous when you get in there because you are getting in numerous vehicle accidents. Like, you got to be nervous about a little bit.
Well, I think you know, if you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough. That's just all there is to it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you keep any like padding inside your car? Cause
I used to, but close time frames of getting stuff done and
padding's the
probably
last thing you're worried about.
procrastination, the padding doesn't ever make it in anymore.
So, I've seen some people they'll just like duct tape a pillow to their driver door, or duct tape foam around the middle bar, and
I used to drive through the alleys and find an old couch and steal the couch cushion and duct tape it in on the driver's door. But
does it actually help at all, or?
I don't notice a difference now that I don't run any padding.
I've never ran any padding. I've been told I probably should, but I've never.
I did start now, but I don't notice a difference now that I don't. I mean, I've never came in contact with the door or anything like that, so.
Shout out to Jeremy Rowland.
Yeah.
What would you say that your least favorite build has been? From your first build all the way up to your most recent build, what would your least favorite be?
Oh, I don't really know that I have a least favorite. I mean, I've ran some pre-run junk that somebody else has built before. That
been down that road once or twice.
I've done it a few times when I'm too lazy to build a car, and it never turns out too good. So.
But every car you've built, you've been pretty content and happy with.
Yeah, I have. I mean, they all teach you something. You figure out what you did wrong and what you did right, and move on from there.
Well, what's been your most favorite then? Because if they've all been good, then you got to have at least one favorite.
Oh, probably my first square body Vic I ever built. I think that one, I just had fun the whole process from between building it to running it was just a great time. So
Was that the Meet Vicky Vic?
that was Meet Vicky.
Oh man, I actually gotta help you guys paint that car.
Yeah.
We were in the backyard of your grandma's house, I
Yep.
think, and everybody was out there with paintbrushes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a fun car. I really liked it.
What about it made it special to you?
Just the whole process. It was just I don't know. I feel like I finally started kind of learning things and putting things together on how to build a car, and
You felt confident in it.
a little bit. Yeah, I started to get a little more confidence. And
Did you ever end up winning with it, or?
no, I think I got third with it once.
Hey man, that's a
Farrington,
trophy though.
but Yeah,
I mean, this is Derby, not racing. You don't have to bring in Ricky Bobby.
yeah. Raise hell, praise Dell.
So you are a Vic guy, right?
Oh yeah.
You like the square bodies?
Yeah, and I think the main reason for that is because I can't afford old iron.
Okay.
So yeah,
But if you could afford old iron, what would be your preference?
probably still a Vic.
Is it because you can get around in it easier, which we've had people say on here before? Or?
I've spent so much time learning them that's all I know, really. So I'll just stick with what I know.
There you go. You can't go wrong with that. Got to
Yeah.
stay safe sometimes.
And I mean, they're so easy to find. They're cheap. I mean,
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
My dog got out a couple weeks ago, and I was driving up and down the alley looking for him, and I couldn't tell you. I probably passed 4 or 5 Vics in people's backyards.
Oh yeah, you can't
just
drive down
sitting
a
back
street
there.
without seeing at least one.
That's true. And then, unless they're an older couple who thinks that, those kinds of cars are worth a lot, then you're really not paying a whole bunch for them.
No, I mean, you're gonna find them in a backyard, torn apart. You're gonna stop in and ask if you can buy it, and the lady's gonna say, "No, my son's gonna build it someday, or my son's gonna redo it someday." And you
No,
come back
he's
2
not.
weeks. You leave your phone number. They'll call you 2 weeks later to come pick it up. So,
You've had a few like that, haven't you?
oh yeah, quite a few.
What would be, I'm not trying to out you on this, but what's your go-to when talking to a person about buying a car? Do you tell them you're going to derby
No,
it? Or?
never. You never tell them you're gonna crash the car that you're buying. You don't know if there's sentimental value behind that car, or
That's true.
if it's a family member's car that passed away or something. You just
I always, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you wanna just tell them that you want to treat that car right, and
My go-to is I'm going to give it a new life.
yeah,
Because then I'm not lying.
No, it's not a lie. It's not a lie. And you say you're gonna take it out and work on it and do a bunch of work on it. That's not a lie.
Yeah.
Putting
I mean,
a cage and welding on it is a lot of work.
That's true. I freaking hate cages. Suck because you got to get up in all sorts of different positions. You got sparks hitting you in the back of the neck, in the face. They're just not fun to put in.
Yeah, you'll have that on these big jobs.
So you said you'd run an old iron, right?
Oh,
If you
yeah.
could ever find one.
Yeah, I'd run just about anything.
Anything at all?
Yeah, I'm not picky. I prefer Vics, but I'll run anything.
Well, have you ever ran a pickup before?
Yep.
What kind of pickup was it?
Piece of junk Suburban.
What's the story on it, man?
Oh, a buddy of mine built it, and he was gonna run it, and then he might have watched a YouTube video the night before where Suburban got rolled, so he got a little nervous beforehand.
Ah, I see.
So I got told about 5 minutes before the heat that I was gonna run it, so that was kind of a jump in and go. And when I got in there, the dang distributor, I guess, was loose. He never tightened the clamp down on the distributor,
Yeah.
so it's spitting and sputtering and sounds like an old John Deere tractor running around there at about half a mile an hour. And that was probably the most embarrassing run of my life because I won the dang heat looking like I was the world's ultimate sandbagger. And then,
I got to stop you. For the people that may not know, what is sandbagging?
well, sandbagger is a person that runs around and doesn't hit anybody and just tries to be the last one running, or they just barely tap. They don't actually make a full-on hit. And
Baby tap everybody.
that's what I was doing because that's all the power I had. I was just trying to catch up with everybody to tackle. But now I pull out after the arena. They gave me the trophy, and I go to pull out, and I look up, and that distributor's kind of just wiggling there. So I reach up as I'm pulling out of the arena, and I spin it, and that thing roars to life and takes off. I'm like, oh my god! Everybody in the stands just saw this thing.
I remember sitting in the stands, and I sent you the picture. I found myself in one of the ones you had sent me of you in the Suburban, and I found myself in the stands, and I just remember sitting there, and you baby tapping your way into winning, and I'm just like, come on, Kyler, what kind of hit was that? And then you take off, and I'm like, what the
Oh.
heck, dude?
I never should have touched that distributor pulling out of that arena.
You shouldn't have.
It came in running like crap. I should have drove it out running like crap.
Well, would you do it again?
Yeah, I'd
like
do it
run a
again.
pickup?
Oh yeah,
Would you rather run a pickup or a Suburban?
probably a pickup. To
Why
me,
is that?
it just seems like there's more stuff you can do with a pickup. I mean, than a Suburban.
Yeah, like I see on pickups, they're always making the bed look.
Yeah, you can fold that bed in
Yeah.
and kind of get a little more strength out of it back there. With a Suburban, you just
Gotta
don't
leave
really
it.
have those options. Yeah.
But I mean, you do got. Well, I guess there's not much more real estate back there than a pickup,
Yeah, I mean,
and the ass end of it. Or
yeah, it's same length and
rear
everything.
end of it.
Yeah. But I mean, that honestly, that Suburban, I'm not ever going to complain about it because I didn't have $1 invested in it and got to go out there and run it. So
But was it a fun run?
it would have been a fun run had the extenuating circumstances not occurred.
Crap. Ran into this issue yesterday. I just kept losing my place. So you've been all over in the derby world, from being a driver to helping out in the pits. What are some of your fondest memories?
Oh, I like helping people out in the pits a lot. It's a little more fulfilling for me since I've had so many people help me so many times. I like to get back there and actually return the favor to some people and do my part in the pits and swing a sledgehammer. But honestly,
Put in a drive line.
yeah, put in a drive line, throw a starter on it.
Do you have any memories that stand out building derby cars, whether it's driving them or being in the pits? Like, what stands out to you the most?
The biggest stuff is the family time. I love being around, having my family around while I do that, and they all love to come out and paint it when the car's done. And
So your paint job, it means a little bit to you then, because it's your family doing it.
yeah, and I really hate painting, so
Well, what would you say the significance is in paint jobs, or even in numbers, because like your driver number, because you have these guys that look like they spend countless hours in their paint jobs just to go screw the car up. Are you?
I mean, it's all what your preference is. If you like to make your car look good, make it look good. It's your car. Do what you want to. If you don't even like to put paint on your car, that's fine. Bring her in naked. It don't matter.
Do you? Would you rather run a painted car or not?
Yeah, I'd run a painted car just because, like I said, my whole family comes out and paints it, and I just really love that part of it.
So, what would the importance of family be in derby?
It's everything. I mean, they're the people that are going to back you up on everything. They're sometimes, being a derby driver, money gets a little tight, and you really need a part, and they're the ones 9 times out of 10 that are going to chip in and go get it for you.
Hey, Mom, I need some help.
Exactly. Yep.
I had a question in my head, and I forgot. But a lot of people close to me know that I got into derby because of my grandpa. I found out when I was a kid he used to help build cars back in the 80s and 90s. And I'd always told him growing up, I said, you're going to be my first pit crew. Like, you're going to be the guy in the pits, and you're going to help me build it. And he said, all right, Dallas, we'll get it done. And when I finally got old enough and I had my first car bought, he had a stroke. And we never got the chance to build together. Like, he never got to help me out before he passed away. But you were one of the last people he helped, or one of the last people. And so I kind of live vicariously through you a little bit. Could you run me through some, like, what it was like having him help you out, like, and getting advice from him and stuff? Because
Well, I got one story that comes to mind on that. My first derby car ever, after that first run, I didn't weld the rear end. We didn't weld the rear end upright with the spider gears.
The rear end?
The rear end, yeah. I can't talk. But we didn't weld the spider gears upright and ended up shattering the spider gears out of it. So we took it back to the shop after that, and he came over and wondered what the heck we were doing, because my dad and him worked at the same shop, and that's where we built my car at. And Lynn came over and was looking at it, and he's like, I can fix that. Have at it.
You just turn around, he's all leaned over, hunched over, grabbing his suspenders. What's
Yep.
going on over
Just
here?
came to take a peek, see what was going on, and he was like, I can fix that. And I was like, have at it then.
As long as I don't got to, go ahead, Lynn.
He goes over there and he puts that thing up on his bench over there, and he starts cutting pipe in half and shoving it in there, and he burns some 7018 in there, and then throws another piece of pipe in there and burns a whole lot more rods into it. And
Probably used a freaking 100-pound box of rods on the thing.
I think so. I ran that rear end for, I think 7 or 8 years until I finally chewed the teeth off the ring and pinion. It was a good one.
Welds didn't break, though.
No, the welds did not break.
All right, well, we got to move on from that. I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed over here. What's the most meaningful way for someone to show their support for you?
Oh, I mean, there's a few different ways. Be there, help out, build the car, show up in the pits to help out, buy a T-shirt. That helps a bunch.
Yeah.
Just showing that support, seeing your shirts in the stands.
It's always cool to pull out or pull into the arena and you see a group of people up there.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's one of the best feelings I've ever felt.
I love sitting in the car and just looking at all the anarchy signs in the stands.
What was up with that, the Team Anarchy thing? How'd that come about?
Oh, at that point in my life, I was in that young, rebellious, being asshole stage, so the biggest thing I could think of was to start a derby team that was just complete anarchy, so...
And it was just like you and a bunch of other...
It was me and a bunch of buddies that just ran around doing stupid crap and pissing everyone off, so...
Hey, I'll give y'all credit, though. I heard a rumor, I don't know if it's true, but all of you guys went and got the Team Anarchy logo tattooed on you somewhere. And it's true. That is team dedication right there.
It's there.
I've seen... I think Shad has it on his chest, and he's the one that was telling me about it.
There's a few people that have it. I got a few buddies that have it. My sister has it.
That's insane. I've never seen a team go that far into...
It was anarchy, that's for sure. Some wild times.
So what are some of the lessons that Derby's taught you that you've been able to apply to your everyday life?
I think the biggest one's work ethic. I mean, just knowing you have to get something done and getting it done.
Yeah, once you buy your car, you're on a timetable after that.
You got no choice. You have to finish it. You have to do the work.
Especially if you get sponsors or anything else.
Yeah, you got to make those sponsors happy.
Because they want to see that thing in the Derby.
I've been lucky the last couple runs where I've kind of amassed a collection of parts, so I don't really have to rely on sponsors as much to build a car anymore. But
so you're saying I just need to give you a call then instead of going out and getting sponsors?
Yeah, just give me a call. We'll get you set up with something.
But work ethic. You'd say that's probably the most important lesson?
I think so, to me, personally.
What's another one? I'd say patience, but I lose a lot of patience with my car.
I'm a naturally patient person, so that one doesn't really apply to me that much. I'm pretty dang patient.
Unless it's the Derby day, then you start getting jittery.
Yeah.
Yelling at everybody.
Then I just start getting angry. I'm still patient. I'm just going to be angry over there.
So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about us Derby drivers, or about Derby in general? Peyton had said that it was, people think we're white trash, we're all trashy people.
Well, I think that one's true, we are, but besides that, I mean, I think people don't know the work and the time that goes into building these cars and to running them. I mean,
there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Passion.
There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of effort. I mean, you have to have passion for it to go out and do it. I mean, it's stupid to build a car, put this much time and money into it, and then go out there and wreck the damn thing. It makes no sense at all. You have to be passionate to do it.
That's true. And, like, money-wise, like, me and you, we build, like, smaller classes.
Oh, yeah.
These guys that go to the Blizzard Bash and everything, they're putting thousands of dollars into their car. Like, those dudes are pretty passionate. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have a millionaire uncle die before I do any of that stuff.
We're like me and you, man. We put every extra penny we have into our cars.
Oh, yeah. And then again, that comes back to the passion thing. I mean, if you're willing to put, you don't have a big budget anyways, but you're willing to put every penny you have that into a car, that's just the passion driving you to do it.
I just don't think us as Derby drivers, we don't get enough respect from every other motorsport.
The thing is, when I get in a car, it's for me, it's the feeling I get for myself. I don't give a crap what anybody else thinks. I love it. I enjoy it. Have a great time doing it. If you think I'm white trash, well, you're probably right, but still, I don't care.
Yeah, and I'm the same way, man. Like the story earlier, I got into it because of my grandpa and my family. My first Derby, I was like 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
I was born 2 weeks before the Derby.
That's how it is around here. I mean,
I just grew up watching it. Yeah. And then over time, I met you, and I met the Rollins and Chop. His dad and my grandpa used to build together, and so...
Well, we grow up and we go out and we watch these derbies every year, and you've got people like Merrick and Harper and the Zanies and Coy Maddox out there.
Yeah.
You had Teddy Bear always running around out there. I remember
Teddy
everybody.
Bear.
I mean, all these memories that stick with you for life just from growing up watching it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, man. It's just weird because you don't really... I know I ask you how you got started and when you got started, but like honestly, it's kind of a blur when you go from stands pits to driving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me it was kind of a natural progression. I just always knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, same.
being a kid, I knew I was going to be out there one day running one of those cars, and it just kind of happened.
So you wouldn't change anything then? You're happy with the way everything's gone?
I'd probably be less of an asshole in my younger years and not be so annoying.
We're going to change the subject here a little bit so it's not all personal. We're getting a little personal out here.
I'm an asshole. Used to be. Former.
Not anymore.
Former.
What was your most recent build, Kyler?
Oh, square body Vic.
And that was the one you went headlight to headlight with Court, right?
Yep. That one hurt a little bit.
Would you say it was a good car though?
Yeah, it was a good car. I mean, I made some mistakes building it, and I made a big mistake driving it, but I put a little too much of a bumper on the front of it, and that didn't help the frame at all. It got a little wonky at that point.
Everybody thinks that you have to have the hardest, stiffest bumper, which is going to sound awful before I said bumper. Anyways, everybody thinks your bumper's got to be stout as heck. And sometimes a hard bumper is not a good idea.
Well, about a week before I started building the car, it had just a stock, flat, square body bumper on it that I was going to use. And someone stole the dang bumper off the car about a week before I started building. So all I had was a loaded Chrysler Pointy, so that's what got welded on the front of it, and it was a bad call.
Well, because if you got your bumper all stout, but in the lower class your frame's not going to be as stout.
Yeah, I'm one of the people that's on the opinion that you need some give there.
Yeah, you want your bumper to bend before your frame does.
Have some give in the bumper, and your frame will last a whole lot longer.
There's some advice for all you young guns out there. Do you plan on building a car next season? Or I guess this season. We're actually only 7 months away from Perryton show. Do you plan on building for it, or?
Yeah, I think I probably will if I get my race car done before that.
Well, what do you plan on building for it?
It'll probably be another Vic of some sort. Square body or bubble top, one or the other.
I've been out to your shop. You got quite a few sitting out there.
Yeah. I'll probably throw something together, knowing me.
But you get the help of, or you told me right before we sat down you sold your little brother a car.
Yep.
So is he planning on building it for this year, or is it next year?
No, next year. He's still a little too young. He's only 13. Well, he'll be 14 in June, so he's still a little bit young. But
what are you talking about? Tell Melissa to sign off.
Yeah.
Get him out there.
Yeah, don't tell him that. No, Michael. No.
You know, I gotta give it to him though. He told me he's been one of the biggest fans of this whole thing. As soon as me and you got done filming, I hadn't even made it home yet, and he's texted me, "When's the next one gonna be out?"
He is. I mean, he's got that fire in him for it. That when he comes out, he's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, and he's a crazy little guy.
That's for sure.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say little guy. He's freaking grown since the last time I seen him. But completely off topic. Why do you run the number 116?
It started as a joke. When we were building my first car, my dad, I think he sketched it on the door, and it had the 116 and it had the call under it upside down. And he said if the car flipped over, it'd say call 911. And I ran it, and so far I've never rolled a car, so we're just going to stick with it.
Well, you stopped putting call on it. It just says 116 now.
Yeah, I dropped the call at some point.
Watch, now you're going to get rolled,
Probably.
and nobody's going to know what to do.
Yeah, they're probably not going to remember the number to call.
Quick, what's the number to 911?
Yeah.
Dude, so... I'm going to skip that. I've already asked that question once. Well, what's in the future for you, Kyler? If you do end up getting a car built, do you plan on running any other shows besides Perryton, or?
No, not necessarily. I mean, if they brought Turkey Bash back in Amarillo, I would, in a heartbeat, go run that. But I'll probably stick with Perryton for now.
You've ran Turkey Bash though, right?
Yeah, a few times.
What's one thing that sticks out from running those shows? Because I never got to run Turkey Bash, and it was like the biggest show around here.
I think the biggest one was Don't Hit Craig LeManger, because that
No
hurts.
offense, Craig, but I don't know who that is.
It's Adam LeManger from EPR's dad.
Oh.
Yeah, that one hurt a bit. They brought some nasty Vicks down for that run. And then, just make sure your car's running good before you pull out there.
Do you have, what have you built?
I had a roundback wagon that the year before that they changed the rules in Perryton. It was a full weld car, and then we changed promoters and changed rules. We went from the JCs to a actual promoter, and they went from a full weld build to a limited weld build. Well, The frame was welded, all the seams on it, inside door seams were welded, all that, and I didn't want to cut all that crap off and grind it all down, so
Of course.
I went the other way, and I decided to go Outlaw, which is pretty much a run what you brung, so I plated the frame on it, and
No rules allowed.
pretty much. I mean, they had basic safety rules, but other than that, it was just do what you can. And
You're rolling out there with a 15,000-pound station wagon.
well, I actually showed up pretty underbuilt anyway.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there was cars there that were insane.
That probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, no, probably not. I didn't know what I was going against, so I showed up and pulled up to the line. Car was running great, and the worst part is I actually had a brand new motor that a sponsor just built for me.
Really?
Yeah, it was a bad little motor, and the dang rotor in the distributor snapped in half as I pulled up to the line, so it died as I pulled up there.
Oh.
They dropped the green flag, and I just got smoked and couldn't do anything about it.
That sucks, man.
Yeah.
That's like you don't know, you can't do anything.
I was
in
still
that.
sitting there cranking on it, trying to get it to run, and
Did you feel the hit?
oh yeah, a lot.
Man, I wish they'd bring Turkey Bash back.
I do too. I loved that derby.
It would be like last guests have said, and like you've said. I mean, it's just a great show, man, and it's like the center of our area because we live in the northern part of the Texas Panhandle, and then there's those guys down in Abilene, like Nathan Evans, all those guys, and so for us it was a big show that was easier to get to. But then also you have people in New Mexico or wherever, Oklahoma, you know, it's just a closer show for them to get to, you know.
Well, one thing too with Turkey Bash, the first one that they ran, it just Brandon McDaniel and Joe put that show together, and I mean they put so much time, money, and effort into that to bring drivers down. They did a raffle in the drivers meeting in the pits before the Derby. They were raffling off trailers, transmissions.
Really?
I mean, they did a lot of stuff just to get drivers there, and I really thought it was going to be one of those ones that got big and
Yeah,
stuck around, but
it would have, but I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure.
Because the last one they had, there was a pretty decent car count.
Yeah.
I mean, the stands were pretty full. It just, I don't know. Decided to put it in Kansas.
Not cool.
Hashtag bring Turkey Bash back to Texas, or hashtag just bring Turkey back. Turkey Bash back. Well, that's pretty much all the questions I have, man. I asked what you have going on in the future.
Oh, more derby and more racing.
Well,
anything like that.
When's your next race? Maybe people watching this are like, yeah, I'd like to go see the 116, do a couple laps around a circle.
I think it's going to be in June in Hugoton, up in your neck of the woods. So
don't say that too loud.
don't lie, you're from Kansas.
I'm from Texas. Just because I reside in Kansas at the moment.
Once you leave Texas, it's gone. All the Texas leaves your body.
No, no, sir. Just because my body's away from Texas, my heart's still here.
I would personally never even think of leaving this great state.
Home is where the heart is, all right?
Yeah.
Well, man, thanks for being on the show, Kyler. It was awesome having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Even though this is the second time we've done this.
First one was a
You've
practice run.
officially been on this show more than anybody has.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Driver's Seat Podcast. I'd like to bring another episode next weekend, but we actually have a mutual friend that's getting married next weekend, so I doubt I'll be able to get one filmed before then. So, yeah, thank you all for watching, and thanks again, Kyler, for being on.
Thanks for having me.